Logan, please help me. We have a shoe problem in this home. My kids have a million shoes. They walk in the door, they throw their shoes in this corner. It is so ugly. It's the first thing people see when they come in my house. This is not the kind of impression I want to make on my friends. Please help us. Can you build something? Is there some magical contraption you could build that would make our shoes look beautiful?
I know just the solution you're looking for. Reminds me of the great backpack pile of the early 2000s in my own home. But fear not, Carly, because I am here to help. And I got a great idea. I'm gonna show you how to make a shoe rack for all of your kids' shoes. And we're gonna do it right now. I started this project by working on the side panels of the shoe holder. I wanted these side panels to be identical. In order to do so, I felt like I needed to joint them first. I don't have a jointer, but I did learn a really cool technique from Jody on Inspire Woodcraft. I'll leave a link in the description. Jody says the first thing to do is to find a straight edge board. He says run it along your table saw and just take off the width of your blade, but only on a portion of the board, just like I'm showing you here. Then clamp down your board, your straight edge, between your fence and your blade. Then run the edge of the board you want to joint along your straight edge on your table saw. If done correctly, this will create an identical edge to your straight edge. Now you're probably wondering, why do I need to do this if I'm not making a tabletop? Well, the reason why is because when I start putting the shelves on the shoe holder, I want all the joints to line up just right. I want everything to be the same, and these boards off the rack, off the shelf, they're not coming identical. It'll just make the joinery a lot easier and everything be much more square. Of course, what I did to one board, I had to do to the other board as well. And I gotta say, the results for my edges came out pretty good. Hey, check out my brand new retractable extension cord reel. This thing has been a game changer for the shop. I definitely recommend you pick up one. I'll leave a link in the description so you can purchase one yourself. Now that the jointing is complete, I cut off the ends of both of those boards, matching them together so they both look the same. Because this family has 6 children, there are going to be 6 shelves to the shoe holder. The front faces of the shelves, I'm going to be using 3/4 inch thick boards. Now these boards are 3/4 inch thick. That's actual, that's not nominal. I had to carefully measure out each of those shelves. I used my speed square because it sits at a 45-degree angle. Tracing these out was relatively easy, just dividing the board up by 6 and drawing the lines with the speed square and yada yada yada. And there's a lot of little details you care less about, but needless to say, it went pretty smoothly. Let's just leave it at that. And because I've been known to throw out the wrong cutoffs, I scribble and pencil the areas that I'm not gonna keep. It's just a little carpenter's tip there. This is my t-shirt that I got from John the Builder Malecki's YouTube channel. I really love his work. He does really cool river tables and all kinds of great dovetails. Check out his channel, you'll really like it. So I clamped together the 2 sides of the shoe holder. That way I could use my jigsaw to cut out the triangles that we're gonna discard. By cutting them together, it ensures that they still are the exact same identical pieces. The back channel is going to be the nominal 1/2 inch plywood, so I routed out a 3/8 inch actual dado channel so that those 2 side pieces will be joined together. Because the price of wood is so expensive right now, I thought it would be more cost effective to just use the 1/2 inch ply. And frankly, I already had the 1/2 inch ply as scrap on the side anyways, so it sure beats going down and buying it for 60 bucks a sheet when I bought it 6 months ago for $35 a sheet. Ooh, I better run that through just one more time to get that leftover spot out. Nothing wrong with a little bit of a touch-up. That's a little scrap piece there, and I must say, it fits pretty nice. Now that I've got the dado channels cut out for the side panels, I've come across a situation that I believe needs a design audible. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here, this line, I was going to cut a rabbet joint and take this, or take a piece like this and put it about halfway down, and this would be the front face of the shelf, or each of the shelves. But when I come to think about it, if you're looking at it from the front, it's not going to look aesthetically pleasing to see that joint. I didn't want to do butt joints, but I think I'm going to have to go ahead and do that now. And then I'm going to cut out this chunk of all the shelves. We're going to do a butt joint faceplate to join it together. At this point, I think that's the best way to go about things. Aesthetically, it's going to look better when you're looking straight at it. It's okay. We got to make changes once in a while. So this piece of plywood has been laying around for a while, and I finally got a great use for it. She requested that the shoe holder be 72 inches high, and this 1/4 inch plywood was the perfect piece for that back panel. To prevent tear out when using the skill saw, I covered my cut lines with frog tape, which is basically painter's tape. I put the 3 pieces that I had so far together with clamps. No glue, just clamps. I wanted to see how it would look. And so far, so good. I cut each shelf out about 25 inches, the width of the shoe holder. I cut one of the ends of the shelves at a 45-degree angle that would sit nicely against these side panels. But cutting the other side of the shelf face was a little more tricky. I used my digital angle finder to assess that there was an 81-degree angle at the end of that piece. So 90 minus 81 is 9. So I cut a 9-degree angle on my table saw. I gotta admit, sliding that into that groove felt really nice. I also routed a dado channel for the base of each of the shelves. I made 2 passes with a 1/4 inch router bit on my Bosch palm router. Those bottom pieces of the shelves are just gonna float in there. They'll be locked in. I won't need to glue them or joint them or anything. I gotta say, for the amount of money I spent on this router, it has been a game changer and a total winner. If you're looking to buy a router, a palm router or trim router, I definitely recommend the Bosch trim router. And I'll leave a link in the description. Click on that, go to Amazon, pick one up for yourself. Making the base of the shelves was pretty straightforward. I used 1/2 inch ply, rip it on the table saw, cross cut to length, and then put a 45-degree angle so it sits nicely and butts up against the face of the shelf. Now before I move forward any further, there are a few knots that are a bit aggressive that need some addressing. First, I blew out with my air compressor any dust that may be hiding in those crevices. Then I used my frog tape, also known as painter's tape, to seal the back end of those knots. Then I used Starbond medium thickness black CA glue to fill those crevices. I followed with the accelerator, which makes it hard within 10 seconds. I just kept doing that over and over again to add layer upon layer until the crevice was filled. Of course, don't forget to flip it over and do the other side. A lot of knots will go all the way through the board and you got to pay attention to those. This process can also be done with epoxy. It's whatever you choose to use. After you give it a good 10, maybe even 20 seconds to fully cure, then go ahead and chase it with a sander. Once you sand it down flush with the rest of the wood, oh, you're going to be impressed. It is going to look cherry. I just want to take this opportunity to ask you guys that if you enjoy what you're seeing, if you think that I contribute something that you enjoy, that brings you value, that whether it be entertainment or whatever, go ahead and hit that like button. And do me another favor, if you don't like this video, hit the dislike button. Frankly, any engagement with my content, YouTube actually likes and they promote me more, whether you like or dislike it. So either one, let's see those numbers go up by pressing those buttons. On the other hand, click the subscribe button if you want to see more of my stuff. Hit the notification bell so you always know about my videos. I love doing what I'm doing. This is a new thing for me. This is the little channel that could. It's only going to get bigger from here, and from right here at 600 and something subscribers, the only way is up. So jump on board and be part of the Dude Sawdust crowd. I really appreciate you guys' support. With all the pieces cut and sanded, now is the time for the glue up. Now glue ups always make me nervous, and anytime I have a large glue up, and I'll call this a large glue up, I like to use Titebond 3. It just gives me a little extra time. Well, a lot more extra time when it comes to drying times. But with a few clamps, a speed square, and a little bit of patience, this glue up came out pretty well. Except for the excessive squeeze out. I had to use a chisel to pry all that away very carefully. It turned out pretty good. The bottom of the shelves are just floating pieces. They slide right in and will be locked in with the face of the shelves. I didn't want to have to chisel out a bunch of glue squeeze out during this glue up process, so I used my green frog tape that I can just peel away after I glue it all in. Of course, then secure it with a few brad nails and wipe up the glue and take off the frog tape. Pretty simple, makes for very easy cleanup. I was told that since this is for the kids, they're going to go ahead and bang it up because kids are just rough with stuff. So the parents wanted to preemptively get ahead of them and bang it up in advance. So I was asked to distress it. Some pokes and prods and cuts and scrapes. So that's basically what I did. I usually like my projects to look really nice when they're all done. On the other hand, I gotta admit, it was quite cathartic being able to put a few dents in this and not have to worry about it so much. Distressing wood is actually a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it if that's the look you're going for. To take this project to the next level, I love DAP all-purpose wood filler. I put it in all the nail holes, all the joints, cracks, and crevices, anything that needs to look good with a little bit of filler. Then sand it down, and you got yourself a project that's ready for staining. It was requested that I stain this project something dark, and fortunately I had this Espresso by Minwax laying around. And of course, with all my staining projects, I always use pre-stained wood conditioner to prevent any blotchiness. This stain came out as expected, very good. And how could any project be complete without a finish? And I went with a fast-drying water-based polyurethane by Behr. I decided to go with my favorite mounting technique, and that is the French cleat. It's a 45 on a 45 with a little bit of glue, brad nails, and exercise clamps. Just make sure it's square and you're ready to go. Carly, shoe rack's up. What do you feel?
It looks so good.
Did we solve the problem?
Yes.
Are the kids gonna use
This
it?
is beautiful.
No more piles? No more piles.
It's a miracle.
Hey, real quick, you just saw me build the shoe rack and I distressed it with a few tools. But there's a video right here where I show you how to distress wood with just one tool. Click on that right after this video. Thanks for watching. This is Dude Sawdust. We'll see you on the next video.